Hi everyone, it's Margaret Manning here. Welcome to 60 and Me. Thank you so much for being here. Hope that you're having a great day wherever you are. I'm having a good morning here. I'm having my cup of tea. I'll talk about that in a second, but I'm really feeling very positive about the future. I hope that you are too. There's so many wonderful things happening with 60 and Me. We've got some really great ideas, things that are coming into fruition after months of planning and thinking. But most importantly, I'd like to invite you to go out to the website, 60andme.com. We've got some really cool stuff going on there now, lots of new articles, a different feeling. I think you'll like it. And of course, we always would love your feedback. So go out and check it out, 60andme.com, and tell your friends about us. More the merrier here. The more women we have, the better. And we actually have a lot of women in their 50s and, of course, in their 60s and 70s and 80s and plus. But we have a lot of younger people coming on too, because I think a lot of people, especially women, realize that 50s are really when the things start to change. And it's a good opportunity to think about new business and about planning for retirement and downsizing, all these things that I think are really, really important. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, my tea. I'm having my puka detox tea in my sweet cup. I love this tea. Actually, I love puka products in general, but this one is interesting. I'm going to put my glasses on to tell you what's in this tea because it's kind of interesting. It's got celery seed. Who would have thought? Celery seed, coriander seed, licorice root, and it's got fennel seed and cardamom pod. And that all goes into a little tea called Detox. Now and again, I just feel like I wanted something simple. So that's my tea for today. So anyway, as I was saying earlier, I think this is a topic that's going to be of interest to some of you and maybe others. You'll be able to reflect on how you can make some adjustments yourself if you're past retirement age. But the topic here is how downsizing isn't only a good thing psychologically and emotionally, but also how it can save you money. And it's become a big trend, downsizing, and I think there's lots of reasons for this. It's very, people want more simplicity in their life, and the truth is we're kind of drowning in stuff. I mean, we've got so much stuff. The average household, this is an incredible number. I'm not sure. The number is in the article, the link, I should say. But the average household in the United States has 300,000 items. 300,000. And I suppose they went around and counted every single individual item, but 300,000 is a big number. So there's a lot of opportunity here to increase your retirement savings if you do some smart things. Now, the downsizing date that you normally start thinking about this is 60, 65. You look around you and you think, I really don't need all this stuff. So you start throwing things away, giving stuff away, selling, doing whatever you can. But the suggestion here that we're going to chat about is going earlier. Go back to your 50s if you're there, or as early as you can in your 60s, because there's a lot of money that can be saved by downsizing. You can save, and I'm going to make a big claim here, $200,000 for retirement if you start downsizing early. Now, most of us, by the time we're 50, are beginning to be empty nesters. Our children are off to school, to college, or they're getting into relationships and moving out of town. And, we've got control over the stuff that we collected for years. I remember when I did this when my kids left, we went into the garage and it was like, oh my goodness, skis, equipment, skateboards, all kinds of weird and wonderful things that your kids wanted and they stored in your garage when they left. So it's a really important thing to look at do an itinerary of all itemization of all your products and stuff that have been stacking in your garage and your attic for years. So here's a couple of ways that you can save money. Like you're thinking, Margaret, how am I going to save $200,000? Well, here's an idea. First thing is storage units. Now, how many of you have a storage unit? I don't anymore, but I did for many, many years. And the average, price for a storage unit is maybe $100 a year, something like that. So if you invested that $100 at 15%, in a 7% return for 15 years, you'd make a lot of money, like $50,000. It's a big number. And it's because if you put your money into investments and don't just spend it on more stuff, then you've got a head start. So that's one way, storage costs, cut back on the storage costs. Another thing you can do is move into a smaller place. Now, if you're renting and you've been renting a big place, you can move into one or two bedroom house and save $500 a month. It's not unheard of to do that. I mean, I moved into a studio apartment, well, several years ago, many years ago, and of course, I'm not taking the advice that I'm giving you here. So do as I say, not as I do. But anyway, if you reinvested those savings at $500 a month at 7% investment over 15 years, $160,000 you can save. If you move up a smaller house, and if you have a house to sell, you can obviously save money hopefully on the profit you'll make, and also on the downsizing cost into a smaller apartment. So you could save you tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars just by changing the way that you're living. And I know that, I've been through this because I'm in my 60s now. So I know that when you're in your 50s, you're always thinking, oh, well, my son or daughter will come home, they'll need their bedroom. And you come up with all these, I need, just in case we ever go skiing again, we'll need those skis. And you do this what ifs and, maybes. And then you find 10 years later that they came home once or twice. And if they did, they stayed for a few hours a day. And if they, that skiing trip never happened. So moving to a smaller house earlier is a really good idea. Now, these numbers, of course, are big numbers because I'm just doing an average. You may not be in such an expensive home, or you may be in one that's a lot more value. So just find your place in this conversation and just, in a way, take the spirit of it rather than the specific numbers. Just know, trust me, that you can save money if you downsize early. Simple as that. Third thing you can do, in addition to stopping your storage unit charges and moving into a smaller place, is to sell stuff and invest the profit. Now, do a real good look at all the things you've got. Now, this is furniture, electronics, bikes, video games, motorcycles, sports equipment, all the things that you are, keeping just in case in your garage or somewhere else in the storage unit. And, there's family heirlooms. There may be things that have been passed down throughout your family that have value that, you perhaps are not using anymore. It's funny, I looked when I did all my clean out. It took me actually several months. Well, in fact, it's taken several years. But I looked at things like Christmas tree ornaments. I'm a big fan of the holidays and decorating. And so I had boxes of, the blue year, the year with the fruit, the year with the purple ornaments, the year with the white. I had like 10 boxes of just Christmas decorations. Now, I was living by myself at that point, and the chances of ever even getting a Christmas tree up every year was going to be remote. Honestly, I maybe could sell those for maybe even $100 each because they were beautiful pieces, but even 50 would have helped. You get the picture. Now, if you've got stuff that's worth, maybe $10,000, you might only get $2,000, but that's $2,000 more that you can invest, and it helps. Retirement seems so distant when you're not there, and you don't realize how much $2,000 actually is until you're not getting a monthly check. Another story. So another thing you can do is reduce future spending. Now, downsizing really is a humbling experience. And it's not really until you dig into that clutter that you realize what you were spending money on that was purely non-essential. And this is a good distinction. When I left the UK to move, the US to move to the UK, I actually got all my stuff down into one room. I could fit everything into one room. And that was a big, big accomplishment. It was crowded, but I had one room in London, and that was it. And I think I had a storage unit downstairs in the building. So then when I moved from the UK to Switzerland, I got all my worldly possessions down to 8 suitcases. 8 suitcases. I actually have them. I have the suitcases in a storage unit downstairs, empty. And I've got them labeled 1, 2, 3 through 8. That was it. And okay, they were big suitcases. I shipped them by courier, but they were everything I had. So it's really important. I think the point here is that shopping is an addiction. Let's face it. It's not it can be a bad addiction, but for a lot of people, it fills a gap. It fills an empty space. Even today, I do this. I must admit. I go out with $10 in my pocket. I limit myself, and I'll buy. Yesterday, I bought some coconut oil. really sweet coconut oil in a little jar. It was from St. Bart's, and this store had all these beautiful oils from the Caribbean. I digress. You see what I do? What it does? It's crazy. I didn't need that coconut oil. I've got plenty of facial oils. But, I bought it. So anyway, that's the point. According to the Wall Street Journal, Americans spend $1.2 trillion a year on what they call non-essential goods. Non-essential goods. So this, if you, by just not buying things you absolutely need, you can really save a lot of money. Or just buy little things that are less expensive. I know that we live in such a consumer society, though, where there's such a pressure to buy stuff, and I know how hard it is. But the point here that I wanted to make is that downsizing early can really save you a lot of money. I would say even up to $200,000. So cancel your storage units, move to a smaller house, sell your old stuff, and minimize the non-essential shopping. See what happens. Okay, now I'd love to hear your comments on this. We've talked about downsizing before, but I'd like to ask you again, are you considering downsizing? And do you think about the idea of downsizing as a way of saving money for retirement? Did this help you in any way get a perspective on that? I look forward to reading your comments. Are you looking to downsize? And have you ever thought about downsizing as a way to earn money for retirement? Thanks again for being here, everyone. Have a really, really wonderful day. Go out and do something great for yourself, and we'll talk again very, very soon. But again, thank you for being here. Bye-bye for now.